All right.
Isabel Bradburn, Isabel Bradburn Jackson with Dear Divine Goddess and myself, Jennifer Bulbrook, with I Am Somebody, are putting together this docu-series, Lost Souls Initiative, where we are taking people's stories and sharing them with the world. And today we are sharing Krista's story. Welcome, Krista.
Thank you.
So you had initially, I guess, had some contact with Isabel, and you guys talked a little bit about, I guess, the docu-series and so forth. What made you want to come on and share your story?
I've always been an advocate and a strong believer of people should speak their truth, whether people want to hear it or not. Um, Through some of my own mental health battles, this these are ways to heal. So I don't know if it's a man or woman thing, but us women like to talk, and when we talk, we can feel better about it. So let me heal through your docu-series by sharing my painful story that may help others get better treatment.
I love that. I'm all about sharing your voice, whether people say they want to hear it or not. If you have something to say, you want to say it, you say it because it's going to reach somebody, if not even just yourself. So I love that. Tell us a little bit about your personal experience.
Sure. So definitely some triggers to my story for anyone that has a hard time with suicide and anything along those lines. So if they don't want to hear it, don't listen now. um, I'm a mother of three. I have ADHD and depression, mood disorder, and anxiety. With children, I get postpartum. And I know this. I have a lot of tools in my box. And one very, very, very tired morning, I said something not great to my sister about, I just don't want to live anymore. And my phone cut out because I live in a valley. And next thing I know, there was an ambulance at my house. And I didn't want to go with them because I needed to take care of my children and felt that, it didn't matter. I needed to be home. But I went with them. And I went with them because I needed a mental health break. It was almost better to take the ride in the ambulance than to stay where I was completely drained and exhausted. The ambulance lady was fantastic. We talked a lot about things. She was amazed at how articulate I am. I've had suicidal thoughts since I was about 11, 12. Trauma occurred. And so sometimes that comes back when my sleepy head is very sleepy. I didn't know where I was going. I just thought I was going to the hospital. I actually put on my Air Force Ones that I hadn't even worn yet, nice shiny white. I was excited. It was a day out for me. Uh, I even brought my pump. I brought my pump with me because I was breastfeeding at the time, and I was worried how will the child eat. Um, and I get to the hospital, and no one's really talking to me. No one's telling me what's going on, where I'm going. Um, all the three ambulance drivers are sitting with me, and I'm just thinking, oh, they're just gonna check me in. I'll talk to the doctor. I'll explain, I'm really tired, and yes, this, and this, and whatever. And then a lady comes, and we walk down a hall and down another hall, and she's not saying anything. And I'm going, okay, I'm not, this is making me feel uncomfortable now because where am I going? What am I doing? No one's talking to me. And of course, next thing you know, they zip the door, and these doors open, and I go, oh, I'm probably going into psych ward because I said I don't want to live in. And I don't blame them. Maybe later that day I wasn't going to make a good choice. They did the right thing to bring me there, but I had no idea where I was going. Immediately going through those doors, I'm stripped of everything. I'm not literally, sorry. They first took my pump, which I had a big time arguing with. I understand because cords, wires, whatever. But I said, I need to be able to provide for my baby. They just took it. Then they send you in the bathroom and tell you to change, and they don't tell you anything. And I felt so violated. So, I was already broken, feeling like shit. And then I felt like I can't even wear my own underwear. Why can't I wear my fucking, excuse my language, but why can't I wear my fucking underwear? You're not taking my underwear. But the worst piece of it is when it came time that I had to pump. So I'm sitting in a hall, not in a room. There's another man sitting down a hall, another guy screaming in a room. And the doctor who had came to see me, I told her I need to be able to pump for my baby. My biggest thing was like, I need to take, in postpartum, I really need to take care of my child. You cannot deny me that I can't pump. And a nurse came about 20 minutes later and told me I had to pump right there in the hall with a 19-year-old boy behind me, another guy pacing. And I looked at her and I said, excuse me? I said, there is no fucking way you're making me pump in this hallway. I was actually probably nicer. I'm more mad now because I'm telling the story and I'm in reflection from that time, how this girl was probably just following her job rules. You can't have a cord, you can't be not seen, et cetera, et cetera. But I had to be that chick that ran to the door banging because I saw the doctor on the other side being like, they can't do this to me. You told me I could have privacy. You told me that I could pump for my baby in privacy. I had to beg. And then I went, oh my God, I'm that crazy lady you see on TV now. Because they wanted me to just do that. I don't understand how it was even how she even thought it was okay. She just even kept saying like, I'm sorry, you'll just have to do it here. You'll have to do it. They eventually got me a pump because I said, you're violating my human rights. Of course, I was released that day. They shouldn't have released me. I was not in good mental health. I told the doctor that I was just tired. I was humiliated and embarrassed. I did not pump in the hall. They eventually got a pump from upstairs and an extension cord, which ironically, it was an extension cord I said I wanted to take my life with. And they let me go. They just said, see ya, we'll send a program for you. But it gets better. They called for me to take this program. It's a group program for trauma and this other stuff through the hospital. It never happened. They called and said, okay, so-and-so will call on this day and the program starts here. If so-and-so doesn't call you on this day, red flag, why aren't they calling me? Mm-hmm. Make sure you call us. Oh, I'll be fucking calling you. I'm hanging on by a goddamn thread and I have children that I need to take care of. It never happened. It never happened. I called and called and called. I've left messages. I gave up. I tried a couple months later, to the point that I have my own wellness business because no one's helping a lot of people. And so I'm doing it myself and it helps heal me. I started in 2017 when my friend took his life. And it's been on hold in between having children, but our mental health care is just such crap. Like there's nothing, and so many people are struggling. And I don't know, the hospitals are just, I didn't think that I'd be in trouble for not being in a good place.
How are you doing now?
A lot better, actually. A lot better. I do my own hyper-focusing research for my own tools. If you look up my site, you'll see some of the stuff that I do, the Alternative Elephant Wellness Group. Not trying to put a thing in there, you can edit that out.
No, go ahead.
Check it out. It's for everyone. And I do free stuff. Everyone goes, why are you making money? I said, no. Not at all.
Mhm.
He goes, so then why are you doing it? I said, because it's needed.
Yeah.
I have a Thursdays. It's free. You got a kid, come over, hang out, do something. It takes a village, and clearly that's been lost along the way for just overall well-being for anyone, let alone people with kids. I don't know, this fast-paced environment has taken away the actual empathy and care that most people should have and don't. Like, I can't, I have, like, I passed the hospital and I'm traumatized. I had my last child there and it was so beautiful. And now that's gone. I can't see, I see them taking everything from me. I see them telling me I have to do this in the hall. I see, I see a tired person who definitely needed some resources, and they did nothing but make me feel humiliated. They didn't help me. How did they help me? They didn't do anything to help. I was hopeful too. I was like, I had to go to the psych ward to finally get the help that I need, that I've been begging for and pleading for. And how much counseling can you do? How much cognitive behavioral therapy can you do? How many different recipes to your medication can they give you? But really, it's a matter of, like, I don't know, have better fucking resources. just a few. The clients I get for my work, it's because they've given up on the system. Not everything I do is free, but if I can have a resource like art expression or, group breathing program or something that's more natural with actual human connections, it's so much more healing than anything else the system, the man, the whatever you want to call it, is providing for us. And it's a shame, because I know my story is just a little story, not that doesn't matter, but
It's just part of the
yeah,
story. Like, there's
yeah.
so many stories out there like it
Oh,
and similar like it and not like it, but it all lumps in the same category.
yeah. Really disappointing. It's really disappointing because, I don't know. We don't have the money. Oh, you have money for other things in the world, but you don't have money to keep the people healthy, alive, and able to afford to eat bread. Yeah.
Yeah. I was saying before, I don't know if it was another podcast that when it was, but I was reading that people, like, the government's going to help assist you to kill yourself because
Oh, yeah.
you're, like, you have mental health issues and you're going to go on the street. And then so instead of paying and helping you get a place and a job or some food, they rather just help off you. Like, how fucked
Yeah.
up is that? That to
Yeah.
me just shows, like, and then you wonder why people think they're worthless. And when you wonder why people are having problems with, like, are they worthy and should they have confidence and should they, like, matter and all that jazz, because the people who should matter, the government and all that, don't.
Yeah. Absolutely. I used to work for the school board. Don't get me started there if you're doing that docuseries. And the last principal I had, I was off on a mental health leave. I was pregnant at the time. This was just before this other stuff happened. And he hit a reply all, and he didn't realize I was in the reply all, and it said, can you send me a new EA, because clearly she'll never rehabilitate herself. And I thought, first, I work in a self-contained high behavioral classroom where we have hopes for these kids and passion to it's not rehabilitation, it's the passion to teach them differently and to allow them to express them as an individual that is unique to our world. And the person who's leading the whole train doesn't even believe in it. So I never went back and worked there again.
Yeah.
I switched schools. I said, there's no way. How quick I got an apology letter. Please don't tell anyone about this, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And again, working for the man. He used to work in a jail. So, he just, oh, well, why don't you know how to do things? Well, I have this thing called feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they hurt, and that could be considered too sensitive for most. But, well, we have a good population of people who do have those things that come out of their eyes that look like salt water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
called being human, right? And
Oh,
so many
yeah.
people
Yeah.
forget that. Like, we're human.
Robots.
And
Yeah. A lot of robots.
yeah, like, with all this technology out there, like, we're not the technology, right? Like, we actually do have hearts and feelings and that. And so, like, yeah. And I'm with you. Like, the man just doesn't care or don't get it and don't care to understand it. They just want to throw medication at you and throw things to like get rid of the symptoms and that, but they don't want to take care of what's really creating the fucking mess. It's like the homelessness problems that we're having out there. Like, it's getting worse and worse because no one's looking at, like, let's look at what the cause is and that. They're not even taking care of the symptoms of it right now. If you ask me,
they're
like,
just
it's
like,
just ridiculous.
Here's the check. You've never had to figure it out before for yourself. So good luck to you.
Yeah.
Close this building down. Go find your own home and things, and you'll work it out.
Yeah.
Well, in the grand scheme of things, they're not going to make me money, so I don't care about them. This is the government or whoever you want to say, right?
Yeah.
Why bother? Because it's about making the money. It's the greed. It's, I joke. It's men. They're just fighting over their dicks and guns and money. Like, it's not like we're sitting there like, let's think about it for a minute. And that's not all women. That's not all men. But I think in the situation of our world where we are, I don't even watch the news or politics or anything, but the world runs on greed. It's such a greedy world. Don't get me wrong. Do I like things? Do I buy things? Sure. But I don't treat people like pieces of shit to get there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You talked about wanting more resources. What do you find that you, even for yourself, were looking for that you are like, I have to like make my own resources up? Like, you pretty much have, right? Like, you've started kind of like your own business, whether it's free, not free, all that jazz. And it's because you've noticed something that's missing. So talk about some of that stuff that's missing out there that you're like, we need to
so like
fill.
the actual cut out there at the end.
Just keep going, whatever you're gonna say.
People need human connection, right? Like, it's a forever thing that we want to belong, whether we're belonging in the right way or the wrong way. It doesn't matter. We just want to be a part of something. And when our mind is taking over who we are, who we feel we are, our worth or whatever, to be able to physically be next to another person and maybe feel their energy, or they understand what you're saying, or even they can remotely be like, I've had a day where one time, and you're like, okay, I'm not alone. Because when we are in our head and our anxiety or depression or whatever it is going on is taking over, it's kind of, everything else isn't there, right? It's just like a cloud in the background. But if you have that support, that community, that connection. I've been in a grief coping program before, and they match people based on age and like the type of loss they went through and stuff. It's similar to that, where, if maybe I have suicidal thoughts, okay, I have a friend who's had them too. And not that it's good to fuel each other with those things, but going to a art program with her is really nice, because we can just like paint and create and just be, and not be in our heads and not think and just do. And we just understand each other. But naturally, like the programs I created, it's so that naturally all of a sudden it's like, hey, you remember like a year ago, we were both in this psych ward together. This is real. Me and my good friend, we didn't have any idea we were both in the psych ward at the same time. We've never been before, blah, 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 blah. But naturally in these smaller, more intimate programs or resources, if they're offered, I just feel like people can heal through each other. People can heal through conversation, you know, keep the conversation going, right? It's okay to be down, but don't stay there. We have a lot of clinical settings for people. And most people who deal with mental health, etc., they've got some trauma from the clinical settings. So if it's a more calm, colorful, friendly environment, I don't know, it's more likely someone might say, hey, I'll try that, because it's not, bring your paper and your pen, be prepared to learn, you're gonna have to read, you're gonna have to study, and you're gonna have to, oh my God, I'm gonna fail this, I can't do this, I'm worth a piece of shit, right? Like it's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
Would that help everyone? Different resources? Maybe not. I feel like it would help more people. There's no fix. There's just, you know, what tools can you put in your toolbox? But people aren't even given the option to breathe, barely.
I know for myself, I sought out a life coach, instead of going to a psychiatrist or a psychologist, because it was so clinical that I was afraid to even be honest about what I was going through, because I felt like they just wanted to lock me up.
Yeah.
You know, like everybody has days, right, where they're just having a rough one. And like,
absolutely,
you have to watch what you say in those situations, because they have to report certain things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
I'm a certified life and wellness coach myself. And I keep checking the clock, because I have a virtual coaching session with a team in 15 minutes.
That's what Jennifer and I both do.
Yeah. Well,
we're both
girls.
Coaches.
We're just a bunch of triplets now.
Yeah.
I've been with this client since she was 9. She's now 18. And she's done the clinical. And as you guys would know, it doesn't work for her. I have a few clients, like I have one girl who's we're a lot alike. And she's like, no one has ever understood me.
Yeah.
Because it's always been like, how does that make you feel? And blah, 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 blah. It hasn't been, hey, Anne, you could just say, fuck, I hate my life right now, and that's okay. I won't tell anyone, and we'll just go for a ride and blast some music, and, you know, it's fine.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
You know, but it's like, wow, I can be myself. I can just unload. There's no judgment. You're not gonna, my biggest fear of ever, like you said, ever going to the hospital is I'm going to lose my children. They're going to say I'm a fantastic mom. I was a child and youth worker and EA, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I have trauma. I have a story. I have things that have happened to me throughout my life, like a lot of people do. That doesn't make me a bad mom, but gosh, the red tape in our world is very like, oops.
I don't know about you, but
my postpartum depression.
What's that?
I hid my postpartum depression because I was afraid they would take my child from me.
Yeah. With my 4-year-old. So I have a 14, 4, and 2. Yes, I'm crazy between the gap there. My 4-year-old, I organized all the outings, like, you know, those super mom things you see. I was that event coordinator. I went to everything and I planned everything. How depressed I was, though. I hit it so well.
I know.
And say the same thing. I love my child. I'm a good mom. I'm just really tired. I'm really tired, and my world's kind of all over, and I can't figure it out. And I feel, especially, I guess, you know, I can say it because I've lived it, but postpartum, there's not much there. There's a lot of like, you are supposed to just take care of the kid, the house, the everything, and carry on. Don't forget, you have to go back to your full-time job, like stat.
Oh, don't forget, you have to heal. You have to heal from giving birth in like 2 days.
No, you're not allowed to do that. That's not allowed. It's
Yeah,
funny.
it's a lot.
My husband got snipped and he sat on the recliner with peas in his switch. Sorry, you guys will love this though. And he's like, he said, well, the doctor says I have to relax. And I looked at him and I said, you're done relaxing. I pushed baby out of my fucking vagina and continued all day, every day. What do you think this is? We have a house and kids. Get up. Go take the garbage out. I have no, he's like, well, he said I have to sit. I said, did I sit? No, I threw a diaper on and carried on with my life.
Exactly.
I even said to him, I was doing this, coaching in a diaper. Oh yeah, just had a baby. Okay, tell me all your.
But that just shows the expectations that the world and that people put on us and that we put on ourselves, and therefore we don't end up taking care of ourselves. And it's not just because we're putting the expectations on ourselves. People are like, well, just don't put the expectation. Well, what about the expectation everybody else puts on us? Because whether we like it or not, we're human, and that's going to weigh on us because now we're thinking about it. And so being able to learn, like with the fine line of learning to take care of ourselves and still having the expectation of, you know, being able to do the shit you want to do and so forth.
It's definitely a challenge. Actively working on taking better care of myself. And like you said, we kind of put it on ourselves too. Like my husband said, you don't know how to sit down. You don't know how to relax. Okay, but like we know, okay, if we stop doing that expectation, how come you didn't get done? How come you didn't cook dinner, or I don't pick up toys or sweep? Why can't we see the floor? I don't know. Like, we have. I don't. Want
because if we don't do it, it doesn't get done.
Yeah, I don't want all of these jobs. I don't want to do all of these things. I'm friggin' tired. But you know, it says, "Oh, you do it to all." I think most moms get it. Or women even, just, you should be this way. And why aren't you? And I guess we have the same of a man. Why can't they communicate better? What's wrong with them?
Yeah, like just like we have our expectations in like the world, and everybody has expectations of us as women and moms and all that. Like men do have their expectations. Like we had a man on yesterday talking about how like his expectation is not to cry, not to show his feelings, to be the tough man, to be the supporter. And so being able to know that like we all are the same but different, and just to acknowledge that and to respect that, I think would go a long way in this world. And we as humans, for a lot of us, well, not us, we do, but a lot of humans don't do that.
No, I actually was saying to my husband, it really sucks that like we don't even know each other, and I just told you my life, you know?
Yeah.
He can't do that with anybody. That's not a thing. I couldn't imagine not being able to speak about my feelings. You know, for him, my husband, he says, I'm working on communicating and understanding my feelings and whatnot. He goes, but it's never been a thing. Like I've never.
Yeah.
It's not a tool I have. I'm like, you know, it sucks. It sucks. I hope, I have a lot of male friends who are like, oh, I don't have depression. I don't need to take that, or I'm fine. Even my husband, I said to him, I go, you take antidepressants? He goes, no. That's because of the Concerta. I said, no, the Concerta started making the thoughts be straight. And then you're like, shit, I have to deal with shit. And then you needed the antidepressants. And he was like, oh, like, and that's how, like, it doesn't, I'm fine. I don't need anything. I heard a new one today, actually, for men. I didn't know this. You guys might know this, but certain antidepressants affect their libido. And so they're like, I'm not taking this because I don't work anymore. And it's like, maybe try something else.
Yeah.
Maybe it does work. Maybe it doesn't. But it's, people just need to be kinder. We're in such a fast-paced world. We don't have the patience for anyone. How many people don't hold a door? I like to believe that I'm somewhat humble because I've lost both my parents already. I'm the youngest of three, had shit happen, blah, blah, blah. I literally still I live like, I plan for the future, but I live like I'm not going to see that person again at the grocery store, whoever. I give the compliment, I hold the door, I make the small talk. My oldest said, Mom, when you die, I'm going to be at your funeral, be like, you might have been the drive-through worker at McDonald's, or you were the gas station clerk that she talked to the other day. Like, and I said, great. I hope that's what you do say. I'm so glad. Like, I was like, knock on wood, I get a few more years here, but I'm okay. I'm glad. I'm happy to be remembered as that person. Sometimes she's embarrassed because she's 14, but for the most part, she's like, Mom, how come everyone just talks to you? I'm like, I spread love. I was put on this earth to spread love, because there's so many people that really are shitty.
It's because you're letting them, right? Like, you're letting them talk to you. You're letting them be who they are. And so many people don't. They walk past people and they don't. And it's like they hide. And I'm guilty of it too. There's times where I do hide. Like, oh, I'm in a rush. I don't want, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I get home and I'm like, oh, I should have just stopped for a minute and said hi. Like, I should have just done that. Like, why didn't I do that? I wanted to, but I was in a rush.
You have an expectation. Get your butt home.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And that's what it is. Yeah.
It's being mindful in the moment. It's hard, it's just in that exact second, even if it just means like, look at something in the room and just look at it. Yeah. Just keep looking at it until your mind's just wandering too far.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear you. So I don't want to keep you, because I know you have an appointment at 2. What would you say to the people that are, watching this and hearing, your story and who are in the same shoes as you? What would you say to them?
Be your own advocate. So many people rely on the doctor knows best, or so-and-so told me. No, do your research, speak up, bang on the door like the psycho lady and tell them you're not pumping in the hall. Speak up. People are so lost in what their rights are, and just, I know a lot of people who let doctors just decide for them. Yeah. Yeah. And there's some great ones that make great choices. And then there's some who are like, here's 8 different pills, and some of them contradict the other ones. Enjoy your deathbed. Like, yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. You know yourself the best, right? You know if something's off, you know yourself the best, whether it's physical, mental, whatever. And so you're your best advocate. And I say that even in the court system. I'm always like, defend yourself. I'm telling you, you know yourself best. You know your story. Nobody knows your life, know your story better than you. Like, and when you speak your truth, it's not hard to remember.
Yeah.
Because it's the story. It's the same story every time.
Yeah, exactly.
Advocate for sure. But there's a lot of things I could say. Let the other people talk.
I love it. Thank you so much for coming on, Krista, and sharing some of your story. And I know it's just like you said, it's just a fraction of your story, and your story is just a fraction of the bigger picture. But the more we get together and share our stories, the more hopefully other people will share. And then hopefully somebody, higher up will actually get the point. We need to make some freaking changes so that, we can actually live our lives like we should be living them, and not being so worried and fearful about what's going to happen the next day and so forth. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Thanks for seeing my response to your post. I'm happy I could contribute.
Yeah, for sure. And if you don't know, and anybody out there that doesn't know, Isabel is hosting a memorial walk for her brother. It's his birthday, August 14th. And so she's doing a memorial walk, say his name, on Sunday, August 13th at 11 a.m. I love that. That's beautiful. We will be meeting. Yeah, that's awesome. We will be meeting across the street from the emergency room at St. Joseph's Hospital on James Street in Hamilton. The address 232 James Street. And there's a walking clinic and a dentist, I think, there. So we'll be walking there, starting there. We'll walk around the hospital. We'll end at the front steps of City Hall, where we'll have pizza, cupcakes, treats, and just chit chat, get to know one another, share our stories and all that jazz. Hopefully make some noise so that people will know we're there. And that's what it's all about. So join us. I hope, Krista, you can join us.
Absolutely.
I hope everybody out there listening can join us. And so again, thanks for having us. Thanks for having us in your home too, Krista.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. It was great.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Enjoy your rest of your week. I'm like weekend, but it's not, it's a week still. Have a good one, guys. Bye.
Bye.